everyone, thanks for joining me on another adventure. Today I'm not going to be camping. I'm spending the day with my wife here in central Washington. We're going to be driving part of the Washington State BDR, the Backcountry Discovery Route, and in particular we're going to be doing Umptanum Ridge. Now most people, when they do the BDR in Washington State, they start in the south part of the state and they head north. My wife and I, we always do it in reverse. We're starting in the north section here and we're heading south. If you look straight ahead there, that entire ridge is Umptanum Ridge, and right there in the center you see those towers. That's where we're going to be starting our drive. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to want to stop here and air down the tires. This is a very rough and rocky road, and you basically drive it in four-wheel low range just to keep the speed down. You basically only need high clearance. You don't need four-wheel drive. I usually put the front tires about 15 psi and the rear tires about 10. The reason for the difference is that the front tires support the weight of the motor, and so they need a little more air pressure. Now I know I said it starts up there on top, but really this road starts in earnest right here in Umptanum Canyon. Dropping down into the canyon here is the Umptanum Creek down at the bottom, and this is a very rugged and beautiful spot, and we just love to stop here and take pictures all the way through. It's one of the hard things about this road trip is you know, trying to keep moving. You always want to stop and take photographs. You can see here as we're coming up the other side that it is a very rocky road, and it's a very narrow road. We find ourselves kind of craning our necks trying to look around the corner to see if we can see anyone coming, because there are very few places along this stretch of the trail where you can actually pass someone. Once we're out of that part of the drive, you can see the road doesn't really improve, but it is less bumpy. It's kind of dirt road here, so it's a little smoother, but again, you definitely want to have the tire pressure let down. It's a lot easier not only on the people, but it's a lot easier on the vehicle too. This time of year, which is June, there are a lot of wildflowers out, and there's always lots of birds. It's a great area if you're into birding. Eventually you reach the top of the ridge. Now you can either go east or west here, but we're going to head west.
Splendid desolation.
Yeah.
As you drive, the first view you get to as you head west is right up here on top with these communication towers.
There's Amy taking photos, chasing the shadows of clouds. We're going to go right through those trees there. Follow that road, goes right over the top. We're going right down Umptanum Ridge. Isn't that something? There's Mount Rainier. Probably can't see Mount Adams there. So this way is Ellensburg Pass. You can see Umptanum Canyon with Umptanum Creek flowing through it. Here's the road that we came up. Right here, going on the other side to Ellensburg. Umptanum Canyon keeps going down here until it hits Yakima Canyon. That's where we were yesterday, where we seen the rattlesnakes right there, where this Umptanum Creek dumps into the Yakima River. And we're right on top here with the towers.
So after our quick stop on top for some pictures and looking around, we're heading west across the ridge. This is one of our favorite drives. We do this at least twice a year. It's so beautiful, so spectacular. Look at all these wildflowers. You got all the distant vistas of all the mountains and everything. It's really special. This area with the trees usually has wildlife in it, like deer. We didn't see any this time. And as we drove, it was interesting that we would come across these little garden patches. For some reason, I don't know if there's a springs right there or something, there'd be a little area full of wildflowers. Finally we reached this spot. It's called Babyface, is what everybody calls it. I'm not sure why, but it's very rocky and very difficult on a big dual sport bike like mine. It's almost impossible way better to be sitting in a four-wheel drive where you can't really fall over. Just put in four-wheel drive, low range, first gear, and creep through it. We were going to head down into Black Canyon here. There's a turnoff on the left there, but had been a forest fire up here 2 or 3 years ago, and there were trees all down across the trail. So we ended up driving across the ridge for about an hour before we came to the route out of Black Canyon, and we took it down. Usually at the bottom of Black Canyon there's a little stream and a lot of wildflowers, so we were hoping for a nice flower show. But the stream was dried up and there really weren't that many wildflowers.
Well, this is the bottom of Black Canyon. As you can see from this road, not too many people come down here, and I think it's going to be a long time before anybody else comes down here, so we're alone. If you ever want to do a trip like this, there's a couple things you got to have. One, a reliable vehicle, which we have. Two, a refrigerator. It's warm. It's even hot. So we hung around for a while, took some pictures, had our lunch, and then headed back up on top of the ridge. This is another part of the road where it's really narrow and you hope no one else comes along, but at least you can see them from a long ways off, and you can probably find a little spot before you get to them where you can pull over. But the fact of the matter is we didn't see anybody else while we were out here for the entire day. We had it all to ourselves. Of course, it was the middle of the week, but it's often not too crowded. In fact, I've never seen it crowded. We took a little break when we got on top, and just to enjoy the solitude and the grandeur of our surroundings. So after we spent our little time there hanging around on top, enjoying the last of the views, we headed out. Usually when we come over here, we'll spend a couple nights in Ellensburg. We get a room there at the Best Western for about $80 a night, and it comes with a continental breakfast, so it's actually a fairly inexpensive little mini vacation. I always particularly like this part of the trail. It's so pretty down here. Usually lots of wildflowers too. It's also a little bittersweet because we're just about out.
Wow, flowers.
Right ahead here around the corner there's a gate, and as usual when you're out you come across a gate, you leave it the way you found it. This one you're supposed to find closed. There's a sign on it just in case you don't know that. Anyhow, I know this isn't one of my normal camping videos, but I thought I'd share with you a little vacation, part of a vacation that Amy and I enjoyed. Now I know you didn't really get to see Amy, but that's because she didn't want to be on video. Can't really blame her. Some people out there can be real jerks, and she didn't want to put up with it. Maybe next time. Anyhow, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.